Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome yet again to Samba Sports Mental Health Tuesday. This is our 47th edition of hosting mental health conversations, talks, inspirations, motivations, and therapies. We do this as Samba Sports because we realize out there people are suffering with depression, with stress, with trauma, and some people don't know where to go to. For that reason, we dedicated ourselves last year from August 2021. Every Tuesday evening, we are hosting what we call Mental Health Tuesday so that we can have conversations around mental health. We can discuss our pains, we can share our experiences, and hope that our experiences can help in supporting those around us and those that we know that may be suffering. So welcome everyone. Today, what a day, what a moment, what a session. We have with us one and only Dan Sonko. We reached out to him and he has been willing to share his story with us, a story of inspiration, a story of downs and ups, a story of hope. And we are hoping by the end of this session, a lot of us will get the motivation to carry on with the loads that we are carrying in our chests, in our heads. Welcome, Sana, brother Dan Sonko. Maybe you can say hi.
Hi, thank you so much, Bwana Mohammed, Executive Director. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. I know your story may be quite a long story, and we don't want to take any more time of you. We want to give you as much time as possible. So we have some questions. Who is Dan Sonko? Who is Dan Sonko? And let's say 2014, 2015, 2016, when Dan Sonko was flying high, what was life like? What was it like being Dan Sonko then? And fast forward, what happened? Dan Sonko was down, Dan Sonko was in pain, Dan Sonko was suffering. And what happened and what was the lowest point in your life, Dan Sonko? But the most important thing is Dan Sonko is here with us today. He wishes to share his story. A lot of people out there may have suffered like you or may have suffered even worse than you. There are other people who right now as we speak may be going through a lot of situations. What is it that up, Dan Sonko? What is it that assisted you to rise again and say, yes, I have another opportunity, I have another chance, I have another go at being the best Dan Sonko? Over to you, Dan.
Wow. Thank you, Bwana Muhammad Ali. That's quite a bit to chew. So I'll just pick it up from the very first question, I think, when you asked who is Dan Sonko. I like to do things differently, so I'll begin with a vote of thanks so that I don't forget it at the end. So I would like to thank, obviously, SambaSports Youth Agenda, the DHRC, which I came to learn is the Diplomats for Health in Resilient Community, and your affiliates for this platform and opportunity. I would like to particularly mention Mwanaisha Kuania. I think she's your project officer at Samba Sports, who has been serving for about 5 years now. I'm actually here courtesy of her. And I'll share a link later of a show that we did together with her, and she acted as my wife.
Hi, Dan.
About 3 years ago. Sorry?
Go on. You had gone off a bit.
Okay. So I was saying I'm here courtesy of Mwanaisha. And straight on to your first question, who is Dan Sonko? My government-issued names are Daniel Kinyanjui. Daniel, like the guy who was thrown in the den of lions. I think names actually have power. So I'm Daniel Kinyanjui, popularly known as Dan Sonko in the media and entertainment circles. I am 39 years old. I am a father of 2 amazing boys, Jibril and Darrell. I am engaged to be married to one Winfred Bwire Ndubi. She's also an actress. Most of you might know her from the show Sultana that airs on Citizen TV. She plays the role of Dida. I'm a brother. Yes, I'm blessed, man. And I'm a friend to many people. I was born in this beautiful city of Mombasa, where I grew up for most of my formative years. I did my KCP at the St. Augustine's Preparatory School here in Chuda, and my KCSE at the Aga Khan High School, also here in Mombasa. I only proceeded out of the country when I was pursuing my university education at the Kigali Institute of Science and Technology in Rwanda. Now, Dan Sonko is a man who is not afraid to dream. I'm a man who is not afraid to chase after their dreams. I'm a man who purposely seeks out the best in myself and those I'm privileged to interact with. From as early as I can remember, I have always been competitive. I've been headstrong. I've been one who's always out to find solutions to issues. And I see that replicating itself in my boys, because I'm quite inquisitive. I've always been inquisitive, and I see them being inquisitive as well. I've always been drawn to the arts, not just because of the passion I have for stage and screen, but also as a means of expression. I mean, the stage has always been a window to society. I have learned so many things being on stage and also off stage. And through this, I have learned to view life as a journey that is full of puzzles and rewards. Look at it this way: we only get rewarded when we solve the puzzles that are presented to us. If we pass, we move on to the next level. If we fail, we get the chance to do it again. We can never get to the next stage unless we satisfactorily complete the one that we are on currently. And that is the same narrative I give to my boys as I raise them. They love playing games. And one of the games they like playing is one called Subway Surfer. And I tell them, look, the aim of the game, they are usually very happy when they collect a lot of coins. And when they trip and get caught, they get very angry. And I tell them, such is life. But at the end of the day, the game comes to an end. Whatever coins they collected don't really make sense, but they have some joy and satisfaction that they were able to win. Now, we have a choice to refuse a challenge. But the way life is made, you can refuse a challenge, but then another one is presented to us. Either way, we have to face whatever is presented to us. I regard myself as an ardent student of life, and I'm on a constant quest to learn, to apply, to share, and to teach. This is something I've shared even in my social media platforms and the people I interact with. I actually coined it my LAST approach to life. LAST is an acronym to mean learn, apply, share, and teach. Because there's so much to life that is not taught in the school system. Looking at how the systems are set up, we are constantly playing catch up with life because no one likes to be left behind. In fact, hata wewe ukionekana uko nyuma, mtu anakuambia wewe mshamba bana, wewe bado uko, you know, that kind of banter gets into our subconscious. We are constantly chasing after opportunities, we are chasing after money, we are chasing after profit, we are chasing after status. I mean, and at the end of it all, we are even chasing after recognition. We are always on the run. And it is my strong belief that part of the reason our society is seemingly broken is because we have succumbed to this race. Cases of depression have been rising constantly and rapidly. Suicides, they are no longer shocking. There is rising cases of things like domestic violence, broken homes, failing businesses. It's like ukiangalia around you, the society we are in is imploding. Now, I'm not sure why any of you listening to me this evening chose to sacrifice your time and join this session, but it is my guess that either yourself or someone very close to you is going through a very difficult time. Or you may be a young person who is just starting out life on their own, trying to find their wings, and you're here to catch a glimpse of what lies ahead of you. Well, welcome to my story. I have learned to question everything. The 2020 pandemic, that thing was a game changer, because I literally stripped myself completely bare. I learned that as human beings, we are driven by emotions. These feelings, they precede reasoning and knowledge. And that calls for something, again, that is not taught in schools: emotional intelligence. During the pandemic, I found time to read, because that's another escape that I usually go for. And in my reading, I was searching. So I read the Bible, I read the Quran, I researched on each of the 7 major world religions. And to be honest, Mohammed and whoever is listening, I got to a point I stopped, because I came to realize everything in these scriptures were actually written by people like you and me. Whatever is written in all these scriptures was derived from belief systems that have evolved over time, and they all seem to be saying the same thing. The only difference is the interpretation. And I started asking myself, as I'm getting lost, why is anything different? Is it a broken telephone? Is it deception? Is it the truth being hidden? So I stopped searching outside and began digging inside. My friends, with each layer I peeled back, there was revelation, there was healing, there was awakening. Now, for a very long time, and quite notably after the passing of my late wife in 2017, I never knew it at the time, but I created an impenetrable wall and was always on the defensive. Her death made me a very bitter person, and yet I did not really see it. The grief and the bitterness, it was all not clear at the time, because I would seek distractions through my work, through putting up a brave and strong face for my family, for my boys. In fact, I remembered my dad taught me a long time the 3 P's of a man. And his 3 P's were protect, provide, procreate. Now, procreation was gone. So I was only left to protect and provide. I felt like this 3-legged stool that had lost one leg and was striving to balance. I was lost. And in between trying to balance, trying to hold it all together, I suffered another blow when I lost my job in 2019. That's 2 years after losing my wife. And what made it worse, it's that it was clearly an unfair termination. And I'm never afraid to say this. And maybe people before used to tell me, hey, Dan, when you're saying that you lost your job, do not indicate that it was a termination. No, it was a termination. And the truth is, it was an unfair termination. But I had too much weighing me down to clearly articulate the facts at the time. My mind was focused on not letting my boys down, ensuring they're shielded from the storms hitting me, and providing them a safe space to grow. I only realized much later that I actually ought to have focused on myself for them, because there's no way I would have given something good from a bad place. I came to understand a phrase that says, hurt people hurt people. Yani mtu ambaye ameumia anaumiza watu wengine. You are cut and you end up bleeding on people who did not even cut you. So I lost my job. That was 2019. And I transitioned fully into my passion, theater and film. And again, put all my energies in there. I worked on growing myself and the industry in Mombasa. And by the way, 2019 ended on a good note. We had a show airing on a primetime slot on national television. That was Kalimani Dynasty on KTN. But little did I know that was almost like, how can I call it? The lull before the storm. Because lo and behold, 2020 was here. The pandemic brought everything to a complete halt. Everything I had been building carefully and meticulously was crashing. As in, I could see myself crumbling to an end. I remember a time when now we are at home, it's late in the night, everyone is asleep. I sat on the floor next to my bed and I cursed out. Nothing was going my way and I was on the verge of giving up. Suicidal thoughts, yes, I had them. So I remember I walked out of the room that night. I went out and I literally hugged a tree because I felt, unajua, even in the scriptures, we are told from dust you came, to dust you shall return. So I only could do nothing but I just hugged a tree. And that gesture to me was the beginning of a perspective change for me. I took a chill pill, literally. I observed nature and realized just how wrong and twisted I have been to an extent. We unknowingly condition ourselves to become more and more rigid over time. This rigidity fails to acknowledge change. Look at it this way. When we plant seeds in the ground, they have to break in order to sprout, right? That breaking of the seed represents pain. It represents change. That sprouting, the shoot has to literally battle through dirt and mud to get to the surface. Once it is at the surface, it has to withstand pests, weeds, changing climatic conditions for it to grow into that tree like the one I hugged. God forbid it meets someone like you and I who's looking for firewood or charcoal to cut it down. But if it doesn't, it still grows into the tree it was destined to be. I took time and also began observing children. Because again, in the scripture, we are told to be like children. So I sat down and observed, okay, I am part of nature and I grew up from a child. So I was observing children and I would notice how free children are with each other, how they trust one another, how they get along with one another, how easily they forgive each other. And most importantly, they don't carry any weights on their minds. So what makes us, especially adults, any different? Unajua hapo ndio nikakumbuka, there's this phrase that says adulting is a scam. Because adulting yenyewe saa zingine it can be a scam. Or so it seems. But do you realize that the older we grow, the more prone to sicknesses we become? And this old age is becoming younger with each generation. Why? Well, we are less and less at ease. Unajua for scouts, kuna ile alert at ease, alert at ease. As we grow older, we become less and less at ease. The mere state of not being at ease is what we refer to as what? Disease. The diseases in us are what are killing us. The diseases in us are our own creation. The same source and trigger of the disease is what holds the cure. Depression is a disease. And the healing is not necessarily through drugs. And I've proven this in my own journey last year when it got to a point I lost my mind, and I've never been embarrassed to share that. I was put on some very hard medication, and I actually decided to stop taking it. Winnie got worried for some time because the drugs were apparently helping me to correct the chemical imbalance in my brain, as it is said, but something deep down myself was telling me, no, you are part of nature. The same way you observed that tree, you can heal yourself if you put your mind to it. So how do we go about it? Well, like I said, it starts and ends in the mind. What you think, you are. Many people underestimate the power of a peaceful mind. This mind of ours is a very fertile ground. And whatever you sow in it, it will reap generously. But just like any building that you intend to construct, you need to ensure you have a firm foundation. And there's a song that we used to sing, and I've sang it for my boys, I think a million times by now. The one that used to go, the foolish man built his house upon the sand, the foolish man built his, and you know how it goes. The rain came down, the floods went up, and his house was washed away. The wise man built his house upon a rock. There's one foundation that I decided to build on. And this, I honestly started in 2020. I ripped everything down and decided to build on nothing but truth. Because after reading the scriptures, I did Torahs, I went to even what is called the Hopi tribe, which are Native Americans that talk about the origins of man. I did a lot of research and decided, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm searching for truth. Let truth be my foundation. And this is a non-negotiable for me in everything I do and represent. I would say, learn to accept what is. What you are right now is a culmination of a lot of factors, many of which you signed up for. I would not have been a widower in 2017 if I had not signed up to get married. That's just one example. I urge people, and I've done it myself, challenge the belief systems that have shaped your thinking. Appreciate what you already have, starting with, obviously, your breath. We take this breath for granted. During the pandemic season, I remember a very good friend of mine, we lost her, God rest her soul in peace, Monique. We acted with her in Kalimani Dynasty. She was a healthy girl, but she fell sick. We rushed her to Premier Hospital and she needed oxygen. Oxygen was being charged per hour. Right now, you're breathing for free. How often do we appreciate such simple things, such things that are already given for free? The oxygen that we take in, the opportunity to be alive is a gift in itself. We have been conditioned to derive satisfaction from acquiring and amassing. We hold on to our thoughts. We hold on to our fears. We even hold on to secrets. And I'll get to that, I hope. We treasure things that are mere dust and miss out on the whole experience of living. We cannot help ourselves but make comparisons. And in the process, we begin nurturing seeds of unhealthy competition and envy. We measure ourselves basis perceptions and expectations, which are mostly external. We give these things importance and superiority over our own uniqueness. You know, I realized we feel hopeless because of disruptions. Disruptions like death of a loved one. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Loss of a job. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Confronting a major illness. Been there, done that, and yet to get the t-shirt. Facing financial crisis. I mean, all these are disruptions. And these disruptions are a change or a shift from what our minds and bodies are accustomed to. You can call it a pattern or a routine, which we have formed. And when it's broken, it sends us into a spin. We hold on to memories which ideally and to be brutally honest, serve no real purpose in the present and the future. We become hoarders of feelings, of thoughts. We become prisoners. It's like an addiction that needs to be addressed. So just like a plant, for it to grow, sometimes there's what is called pruning, right? How do we prune ourselves? Pruning is like decluttering. It's a must. Cutting off that which is gone and holds no real value or relevance to your life. I could go on and on, but allow me to give you like quick bullet points on what formula I would say that I use to win at life. Well, I choose to focus on the present, the now. I always acknowledge that there's nothing I can do to change or alter the past. I also acknowledge that the future is not a guarantee, but what I have now is what matters. I choose to appreciate my existence in the universe. If my purpose was fulfilled, I would no longer have breath, and hence I'm an important and integral part of this world now. Me being here, speaking to you, us having this conversation is not a coincidence. I give thanks for that which I have. And in the same breath, I choose to accept my shortcomings. And how do I know that I have shortcomings? I know I have shortcomings because I have made comparisons with someone else who has what I believe I lack. How we perceive our glass has an impact on how we live. Our focus can be on the glass being half full or it being half empty. I view fear, shame, embarrassment, and vulnerabilities as mental constructs. I'll repeat that because this is now, I could call this the crux of the case. Fear, shame, embarrassment, and vulnerabilities. Those, to be very honest, I have come to discover, and I discover every day, those are mental constructs. Those are just smokes and mirrors that hinder and limit us. They are limitations, and they sometimes cleverly are used as a means of control by those who have sinister motives over you. A bully will use any of those four to subdue you. They'll try and bring out a weakness in you for you to feel shame, to feel embarrassed. That's an external factor. It's a mental construct. If you are able to step out of that, kama unaona haya, hiyo haya ni yangu, but ni nini hicho, what is it? And you find most of the times it's people projecting their own fears onto you. I always speak the truth to anyone and everyone. And people know this. Some call it a bit extreme, but at the end of the day, it's the truth. I hold no secrets. And my perception of people is basis my interaction with them. We are quick to brand, to label, to judge people, and we seldomly take time to listen and understand them. And it is a societal thing. I won't call it laziness in approaching, but we just thrive in forming opinions of others basis what we have been told. We are no longer bold enough to step out and find things out on our own. A key thing that I have learned is contentment. I seek contentment in my journey. I value quality over quantity. I value growing others and learning from them as I also share what it is that I'm learning through my own journey. I choose to let go of anything and everything that is beyond my control. And that is a very important thing for us to learn and relearn. Letting go, people, there's a phrase that says letting go and letting God. For that which is in my control, I take as a task that needs to be executed diligently and to the best of my abilities. What I don't have control over, I'll not let it bother me. You just take it as it is. Be deliberate in every action you take and ensure your character shines through your steps. Your character is highlighted by the foundation that you've set. Are you a person who's of high integrity? Are you a person who speaks truth? Let that shine through your steps, because in the end, we are not defined by our possessions, but by our impact. Work on yourself. Seek to have a peaceful mind and a loving heart. People know me by my hashtag love conquers all. I've even tattooed it on my arm. Everything else will begin to align and fall in place once we seek that peace of mind and work on a loving heart. And here's something for you to always remember. I've etched it behind my phone and I've written it. It's a hashtag, this too shall pass. And I love using it. For those who have been talking to, they know I love sharing this one. The reason I say this too shall pass is because it doesn't matter where you are. Right now, you're at the best place, that hashtag applies. This too shall pass. You're at the worst place, this too shall pass. Remember, life is seasons. We get stuck when we are at a good place, and if anything changes, we start wavering. We believe so much in certain systems and become afraid of any differences that come our way. We need to remember who we are and be happy about it and enjoy life. In every mess, and this is something that a friend of mine called Leila Awale spoke of 2 years ago, there's a phrase that she used: in every mess, there's a message. So whatever mess that you find yourself in, try and find out what message is there in that mess of yours. Seek out someone, speak. And that goes back to the point that I had raised of fear, embarrassment, vulnerabilities. We hold on to a lot. If I did not open up, say in 2020, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be seeing life as beautifully as I see it. So, Mohammed, I think I'll end it there for now to welcome any questions. But my encouragement to anyone who's listening to this, whatever it is that you're going through, this too shall pass. Do not project your own dissatisfaction on others, because if you look at someone enviously, let's say someone is looking at Dan Sonko and is like, Dan Sonko has got it all. Yes, Dan Sonko has his fair share of blessings, but it has its baggage as well. You might want my blessings, but are you willing to carry my baggage as well? So everyone is provided the tools that they are able to use to win their journey of life. So I am winning mine, and I'm sure you can win yours. And if you need help, talk to me.
Wow, Dan. I just don't know what adjectives to use for the session so far. You know, we invited you knowing you had a story, a powerful story that you can share with us to motivate people. We didn't know you are a lecturer in yourself.
Salala.
Yeah, I mean, the lessons are coming thick and thin, you know. And I just want to ask, how many more times can we invite you? Now, more as an educator than just someone sharing their story. But maybe that's story for another time. We are going to talk to you. But I know people in our language, Kidigo, we say midome na mwinya mwinya. There are people who want to say something about that. First of all, of course, no wonders. Carolita, her hand has been up 20 years ago. Caro, do you have something to say? Hi, Caro. Can you speak?
Ama labda she was waving, saying hi.
we can say hi back. But she wrote something in the call chat. I want to read it on her behalf.
Hi, hi. Hi.
Caro,
Hi,
can
how
you
are
hear?
you?
Yeah, good.
I'm fine. Nilikuwa nawasalimieko na pia nashukuru Mungu kwamba kakangu my opposite, I call him my opposite kwa sababu tunataka direction zote za upeo wa amani na furaha na upendo. I'm happy to be here. When I shared the stuff, I was purposely to get a reminder, but it held for me. And like I wrote there, I need to go out. Today I was having a conversation with someone who was talking about some students because they happened for shule because of depression and suicide and stuff like that. And I was asking why is it that they're not, because ukijulikaniwa kidogo umepata matatizo ya hisia na mawazo tofauti na hopes.
Caro, you are breaking, but we'll give you another chance. Maybe if your connectivity is better, we are getting the gist. Yeah, thanks. If there are other people who also want to speak, if you please opportunity, or you can say something on the call chat, and I will read it out for you. Please, let's share. There is a river or rain of comments on the call chat. I'll try to read a few. Carolita says, it's always important to check on your mental health. Sometimes we ignore our state because we are afraid of being labeled. This kind of talks should reach out to those who cannot access it online so that we save many souls from mental health illness. Thank you very much, Caro, for that comment. Abigail Modoni says, I love the quote, many people underestimate the power of a peaceful mind. I love that too. I love that too. Riziki Mwakusirikwa says, yes, ukiongea sana ukweli wako na kujikubali kwa hii society yetu unakuwa branded. Yes, indeed. And Dan Sonko has said, all that is hogwash. It's hot water. If you are branded or people call you names, for as long as you don't focus on that, that's just hot water. Damina says, this too shall pass, and says, thank you, Dan Sonko. Thank you very much. Odanga Wabuti says, great job done. I celebrate you. Thank you very much. Wangari Ndungu said, indeed, that was inspiring and touching. Thank you very much, Wangari. DJ Lenium, salute, says, great presentation done. Thank you very much for your support. Manesha Kuania says, wow. Thanks so much, Dan, for honoring our session. That was powerful and so many lessons I have picked from your story. Much respect, man. Thank you very much. Damina says, nakumbuka watu wakikuongelea kwa social media, wengine wakasema ni fake news. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you very much, Damina. Of course, when people see you suffering, some don't imagine you can come back. And when you come back, it is said that you are pretending. It's okay. That too shall pass. Yeah. What more? Ian Wex, I can relate with Dan because I have an inspirational story about my journey with mental illness. Thanks, Ian Wex. Maybe we can talk. We can invite you one day and you can share with us as well. DJ Linium comes back and says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Keep walking like JW. Biasha Vipo says, thanks for wonderful presentation. What are some of the things one can do to promote emotional intelligence? How does one stop holding on to negative thoughts and fears? Dan, those are two questions for you. what are some of the things one can do to promote emotional intelligence? 2, how does one stop holding onto negative thoughts and fears? Maybe Dan, you want to delve into those questions before we can, after that we can read the other comments.
Okay. Let me just run through that question again. What are some of the things one can do to promote emotional intelligence? How does one stop holding on to negative thoughts and fears? Well, first, let me put out a disclaimer. I have not studied anything to do with psychology. In fact, everything that I share is out of experience. Actually, most of the syllabuses that are there in school, I think were created through experience of others. So what are some of the things one can do to promote emotional intelligence? To me, I found it very easy once I decided, you know what, I am going to stick to just the truth. And let me tell you something about that. The truth is scary, especially when you start. It is very scary. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, we had a food drive exercise, then we stopped it. Then, like I said, it was that time that I decided I'm going to just attack the truth and build my foundation of truth from now. And that started with what? It started with proper accounting of people's finances first. That's why we were doing our accounts openly. Sikutaka stories za kuambiwa nimeiba pesa ya watu. But most importantly, in standing by the truth, there are a lot of things sisi kama adults, and let's have this candid discussion. Kuna vitu nyingi ambazo watu naogopa. Madeni ni kitu moja. And there's something I wrote to people in 2020. Write down all the money that you owe other people, because again, money mindset is very dangerous. Andika kila mtu ambaye anakudai, then reach out to them. Wale ambao unaweza kulipa sawa, wale ambao huwezi kulipa eleza ukweli wako. If you are blessed enough to have a partner, huo ukweli wako, it's most highly likely hajui kila kitu kukuhusu. Share that truth with them. Let them see you for who you are. Wacha one uchi wako. Sio uchi wako tu wakati wa tuseme ngono, hapana. Uchi wako yani, who are you? Wabuti Odanga, I think he's still online. There's something that we learned back at Word of Life camp in Diani. There was a question that would be posed. Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when no one is listening? That you, that true you, bring it out. Let it out there. Because what that does, it creates a balance. And no one can tell you, kama mimi, watu wanaweza ongea kenye wanataka kusema, umbea wote ule wanataka kuongea, but you know your truth. The people who know your truth. For me, my people are who? Winnie knows my truth in and out. My family, they know my truth in and out because I don't hide anything. So once you're able to put a foundation of truth, you don't even need to start worrying about emotional intelligence, because now whatever you say, you are saying it from a point of truth. So I hope that answers your question on how to promote it. Now, your second question was, how does one stop holding on to negative thoughts and fears? Again, I talked about accepting. Acceptance is very important. Accept what you can control. Accept what you cannot control. What is fear? Fear is unaogopa kitu kitafanyika. Kimefanyika? Hapana. It is in the future. So why are you fearing something that hasn't happened? Look at the now. Look at the present. Be deliberate in all the actions you are making now, such that, for example, I sell seals. I sell tamper-proof container seals and the likes. Sometimes during the election time, business I hadn't sold for like 3-4 weeks. So obviously there's a fear. I'm not hitting my targets. But guess what? What have I done today? Yes, sikuuza jana, but jana imepita. Leo, I go back. I go to the market. I talk to people. I engage. I try and meet set goals. I write them down. That way, I don't need to fear. When the negative thoughts are there, dwell on them. If you need to write them down, write them down. If you need to talk to someone close to you, tell them about those thoughts so that you get to first understand what is the source of those thoughts. Once you address the source, that's it. Yeah, nimeongea mengi, but I think that kind of answers both questions. Over to you, Mohammed.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dan. If anyone else has a question, you may raise your hand. We give you an opportunity. We still have some 4 minutes to go. In the meantime, if no one raises their hands, I can go through some of the comments that I had not touched. Margaret Jerry says, thank you, Dan. Never to underestimate the power of a peaceful mind. My take home today. Thank you. Mama Riziki says, this too shall pass. Thank you, Dan Sonko. Collins Siaya says, it takes a whole of braveness to share your story, Dan. God bless you abundantly, and may He see you and all of us through the messes in life, and may He help us to see the messages in the messes. Wow, what a philosopher out there. Omar Matano Omari says, the journey of life hazifanani kwa kweli. Let's keep faith and give each other time to open up. Thank you very much. Nyevu Karisa says, I have learned a lot. Kudos, my fellow St. Augustine alumni. You are getting so many friends, Dan, out of this platform. I'm getting jealous.
Where to sort?
Aha. Utaambia uliojua kupitia kwetu.
Kabisa.
EXWX says speaking out is a great cure to the scourge of mental illness. Thank you. Abdallah says thanks a lot, Dan. Salim Suleiman Mbui, he's a bit long. He says, learned a lot. Indeed, self-contained grief is self-destructive. We have to share for us to set our minds free. The past does not matter. The future is unpredictable. We only have to live the present here. We can discover our personal legend. Wow, thank you very much. Zito Biasha says, thank you very much. It was indeed a wonderful session. This too shall pass. Thank you so much. We are 2 minutes away from 9 p.m. If there's anyone who feels they want to say something, we want to give them an opportunity. I would like to, of all the people, would like to allow Mwanaisha Kuania to say something because she's the one who lifted the phone to Dan. So if she may.
Okay, thank you so much, Mohammed. First of all, thank you so much, Dan. Ilikuwa ni simu ngumu kwa kweli. Ilikuwa nashindwa nitaanzia wapi. Usinicheke. But I managed to pick up the phone na nikakupigia, and nilipoanza tu kuongea hivi, you accepted from the beginning, and this is such an honor to have you here to once again hear your story. This is not the first time to hear your story, but hearing it from the horse's mouth, it has made me so inspired. Now I think, and according to how the chats have been, it has inspired many, and many have learned from it. And healing journey is a process, and we believe in this healing journey, kila mmoja akona njia zake ambazo anazipitia, but we learn through our healing journey from each other, and this has been very wonderful to hear so much from you, being that vulnerable and trusting us with your story. It has been so much grateful to us. We really appreciate you being here, and this will not end. Inshallah, we'll meet once again here in the same platform to educate others once again for more information that you have, kwa sababu wewe si mtu tu hivi, but una information enough ambao unaweza kuwasaidia watu wengine, and we are really looking forward for that. And inshallah tutakutana tena, tuta act pamoja tena. Karabisa kitu.
Nawasikia.
Nimekuona, nimeona watu wengi jamani, mimi nimewamiss sana. Kwa hivyo asanteni sana kwa kutubariki katika hii session yetu, na tukutane tena.
Amen.
Ninaomba tafadhali, I know we are past time,
Yes, Dan, you can go.
But there's one support system of mine I cannot fail to mention, kwa vile namuona hapo kwa comment section. There's a beautiful lady called Stella Auka. Stella Auka happens to be the mother to my Winfred Bwire Ndubi, na ameweka comments zake hapo. I'd love to read them, please, because she has been a very great support in my journey as well.
Go ahead.
Ameandika, kwanza aliandika, I have personally learned to feed my mind with only positive things by reading, watching, and interacting with positive people 90% of the time. I flee from negativity. That's her first comment. And her second comment, amesema, I have been reprogramming my thoughts, having realized that I was negative at 58 years. I'm a happy woman and a cancer survivor. Those are the two comments from my mother-in-law. I have the best mother-in-law in the world, and I just had to share that. Thanks.
Wow, Dan. What can we say? Maybe if we can ask nyuma ya tent kama kuna watoto wengine.
Hao watarajiwa. Unakumbuka nikianza session nilisema my dad taught me the 3 P's za mwanamume. Provide, yes, protect, and procreate.
Yes.
God is allowing me to get the last P back. So tuombe Mungu. Procreation inarudi.
Unauliza kama mama mkwe wako bado ana watoto wengine. Tunaweza kwa mwa nyumba.
Hapo mmekula huu.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you so much, Dan. I think there's a training coming by there. We are training 75 mentors who will be sent to schools to do peer-to-peer mental health sessions with pupils and students in high school. Wow. In the next 1 week or so. Actually, this Saturday and Sunday. So I don't know how your schedule is, but if you could appear for a session just inspiring them that even the most difficult moments can be redeemed, then that would be wonderful. But then that's another phone call we are going to have with you, Dan. Thank you very much.
No problem. Happy to help.
Thank you very much. What can I say, really? It's been a full 50 of us. Those who joined have been 50 over the session. I know some are still living, but then we hit 50 today. It's the highest we have had. I think after this, the other highest was 48. So Dan, you've been special, and thank you very much for your story, and keep moving on. Keep moving on. For everyone who joined, you are lovely people. Thanks for sparing your moments. Please take away these lessons from Dan's story and share with others. There are countless people suffering out there. Please share this story with them, and may it be the tonic that they were waiting for. Other than that, we are going to share this on our YouTube channel. Please, if you click on our YouTube channel, SambaSports Youth Agenda, by tomorrow morning, inshallah, it will be uploaded, and you can start sharing it around. Thank you very much, and may God bless you most abundantly. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. God bless.